Hello, my name is Peter. I'm from Stratford-upon-Avon. Please allow time for laughter in the presentation. Well, I endeavour to live a green lifestyle. And Stratford's a relatively good place to do that because apparently we're 7th in the league of recycling performance of the English councils. However, despite having a state-of-the-art MRF, material recycling or reclamation facility, just down the road, a year ago today, I was looking at a big pile of plastic that I couldn't recycle, this kind of thin film packaging. And it's very interesting because when you take a close look at this packaging, you see messages like widely recycled, this packaging is recyclable, but not recyclable everywhere yet. Packaging is partly recyclable, or check local recycling, and then be disappointed later. But, you know, the council are very clear, don't put this in the recycling bin, it has to go to general waste. So I was a bit disappointed. I started to look around at, they all inferred that there must be recycling this somewhere. So I started to investigate where that might be. However, I didn't have much luck, and I was getting a bit disappointed, a bit grim, a bit down. A row of hope appeared in the form of an announcement by the British Retail Consortium saying that the leading retailers had all volunteered to take part in the scheme whereby they were going to take this kind of material via their existing carrier bag recycling bins in front of their stores, which was great. So, and this is the suggested standardised logo that you should look for. So in our town, this is what the bins look like outside Tesco's there, in their car park, and this is outside Morrison's. Well, you know, I thought this was great, I want to tell the world, so I set about forming a press release, putting that together. I wrote to Tesco's head office, said, give us confirmation. Well, they wrote back saying, I don't know what you're talking about. But, you know, it's interesting because messages did start to appear, not in a standardised form, things like this. Please place it in the recycle bin at your local store, that's clear enough. Another one saying recycled carrier bags, clear enough. This one, perhaps not so clear. But then, you know, what I looked at the materials, and it became very clear, very obvious, that there were just two types. Well, there's type 2 and type 4. That's high density and low density polyethylene. Those are the types that these messages were appearing on, and that's the same material that they make carrier bags from. So that makes sense. To keep the waste stream or the recycling stream pure, you have the same material. But let's go back to my original selection. And let's take away, if we assume that scheme is now working 100% efficiently, everyone knows where to put things, let's take away the polyethylene. Oh, well, it hasn't taken everything away, has it? So we're left with polypropylene, we're left with copolymers, we're left with laminates, and these very difficult crisp packets which are metallized polypropylene. Okay, so let's put this in perspective. Are we worrying our pretty heads about nothing? Well, according to RAP, we're not, because this material in the UK amounts to 1.2 million tonnes per annum that's being thrown at us. And they summarise the destiny of this material. It's generally not recycled, some is removed by manual picking, but the vast majority is sent to landfill or energy from waste, well, incineration, to you and me. They also, in that report, point out that en route this material becomes contaminated when retailers put sticky labels on. That paper there is contamination in a polyethylene stream. So this message I've been seeing for a number of years. Couldn't care about the environment, working on it. Well, I decided to start working on it. I went to see my MP, and I presented him with all my evidence, and I say, "What's your stance on this? What's your position with this waste and this environmental unfriendliness?" He said, "Responsible business is good business." That's great. Someone we can tap into there. He also showed interest when I looked at I showed him the Walker's crisp packets. This is what they're directing you to do on the back, despite the fact they're claiming it can be recycled. Bloody hell, 1 minute left, okay. Well, he followed that up. He followed that up, that was great, that proved that Walkers had no strategy whatsoever to recycle their packages. So we're saying we need to enforce responsible packaging. We need to make an example of manufacturers. We need to make them and the retailers jointly accountable for recycling product packaging. Make sure they don't stick labels on and contaminate the stream. We have to ensure the simplest possible method for households to recycle, make it simple, we don't have to do any extra work. And also to encourage appropriate packaging practices, whereby if something, for example, is going to get contaminated with food waste, it's maybe made of compostable and can be put in the green waste bins. Okay, so what we also, at the end, is to champion in our media campaign those products that are packaging responsibly. Here, if one porridge manufacturer can do it, why can't all of them? And also then to shame those household name corporations that are not. Thank you.